Why, hello there, Minnesota Vikings fans. Jacob. And today, coming off of what was a very disappointing, very gut-wrenching, very we could have had it, should have had it, would have had it, blah, blah, blah type of game that is still frustrating even 4 days later, or coming up on 4 days later. There ain't no rest for the wicked here, ladies and gentlemen, because we start our home divisional slate against the Chicago Bears. But more on that here in a minute. Because your boy also has a couple of pickups to share with you. So, let's go ahead and dive into that. So yeah, over these last couple weeks or so, I've picked up a couple more Vikings jerseys that I really haven't had a chance to just film independently or anything like that. So I figured, well, while I'm here, I'll just go ahead and kind of quick show these off. Since I don't know how much more time I'm going to really have the rest of this week because, hint, 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 as I've kind of mentioned here these last few weeks or so, maybe even at the beginning of the year, your boy, my dad, and my uncle, as well as my sister and her family, are actually going to be at this Bears-Vikings game. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to really film anything while inside of the stadium, since last time I tried to film a Vikings game, well, let's just say I got copyright strike. I don't know exactly what terminology you want to use there, but let's just say I got a copyright strike because Prince was playing in the background. But anyway, that's if you remember that video, thank you. You're an OG because that was a few years ago, but yeah. So I figured I'll just go ahead and kind of throw these pickup videos, throw these jerseys into this video, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears coming back into town. So, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first jersey I want to share with you is actually what I'm wearing. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. This particular bad boy is a Dalvin Cook Nike Vapor Fuse Limited in the home purple. Yeah, for those of you who remember, right before the season began, I actually picked up the road white version of the Dalvin Cook Vapor Fuse Limited. And, well, they have these on sale for like 50 or 60 bucks, so I figured, why not, It's always nice to kind of have a couple jerseys you can just throw on for the hell of it and not really care. But, yeah. Curious to see what Dalvin Cook is up to these days, because I know that when he left Minnesota, his career really didn't take off that much. However, though, his brother James is doing pretty good over there in Buffalo, so who knows? But with all that being said, on to the jersey I'm most excited for. Well, let's just say if you're an OG Vikings fan, or if you've been around my channel, even before, when I came back and stuff like that, when I was in college here about 10 or so years ago, then you'll recognize, well, this player I'm probably going to show off here. I was able to finally find one of these styles of jerseys. And, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and just show it off. 3, 2, 1. Boom, ladies and gentlemen. I was able to find a Nike Elite. I think they call these the Elite 51s. So this is a circa 2013 to 2016 Minnesota Vikings jersey of, again, probably the biggest what if in NFL, or at least in Vikings modern history, because, well, as you can tell by the number here, it is of none other than Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, I know. I kind of was hoping that, that 2016 season still haunts me to this day because, we never really got to see what a fully healthy Teddy Bridgewater looked like, because from 2015 to 2016, I mean, he was developing really well. It was looking really good. His mechanics were finally starting to show up. And then a freak training camp / preseason injury in 2016 where his leg literally almost fell off, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, basically derailed what was a very promising career. But yeah, let's go ahead and kind of show off some of the details here. So, first and foremost, like I say, this is a Nike Elite from 2012 to 2016 model. And since the Vikings switched to these uniforms in 2013, and, well, Teddy Bridgewater was drafted in 2014, you could say this is like a 2014-2015 style. So, yeah, it has that Viking design in the neck collar, has the old fly wire, if you guys remember that from back in the day, has the sewn-on Vikings, the 5, which is single-stitched, with the different paneling and material and stuff like that, from a mesh to more of like a nylon athletic cut, the 5 on the shoulders, with the Nike swoosh and the stripes. On the back, it has Bridgewater on a sewn nameplate, again, on a breathable back, with the polyester, and then the single-stitched 5, and then that other paneling, just kind of like in the front. And this particular bad boy is, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this here, but it is a size of 56. So yeah, that basically kind of concludes the pickup portion of this video. Now on to the preview. So yeah, as I mentioned, I will be at this game, and I'll be curious to see what this looks like up front and personal, because I'm not going to lie, it's been a roller coaster season. And, well, if you remember, last time we played the Chicago Bears in Week 1, J.J. McCarthy went from a dud in the first 3 quarters of the game to, well, the NFC Player of the Week. Because of that just 3-touchdown, beautiful fourth quarter, which made all Vikings fans like, alrighty, there might be a little something here. And I'm not going to lie, I felt that way too. But we also have to understand too that there's still a lot of time and a lot of development that needs to be done here before I can actually give an accurate description on how I feel about J.J. McCarthy. And again, you've probably heard me scream from the high heavens over the last couple of years to run the ball. And I'm not just saying once in a while or twice in a while. I mean, if you look at the stats on our 3rd and short, the Vikings pass it the most in the NFL, and it's not even close. Like, imagine if you just ran the ball even a couple of times. Because in 14 attempts of passing on 3rd and short, 4th and short, so like 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, the Vikings have had 0 completions, with like 4 sacks and like 10 incompletes, and just, it's a disaster. So for me, in my opinion here, what the Vikings need to do is establish a run game. Focus on getting Aaron Jones going. Focus on getting Jordan Mason going. Get that momentum flowing, pumping, and rolling, so when the play action takes place, then you have your Addison open. Then you have your Hawkinson open. Then you have your Jefferson open, which, good God, hopefully Jefferson's all right, because ay caramba, senor. That was not a good game he had Sunday. Not even close. Granted, like I said, I don't know if that was necessarily all on him. I don't know if it's because of the coverage that the Ravens did or whatnot, but that was not a good game from him. But anyway. And then, also, JJ, it's okay to put a little touch on the ball, my man. Like, good Lord. I mean, there's a few of those passes, especially in the second half, when he was starting to clutch and grip, where, I mean, he was firing howitzers. that were going about 5 yards over like the tight end and the receiver's heads. Like, if you were within about 2 yard radius or something like that, I'm afraid some poor old woman in the front row was going to get speared right in the chest. I mean, that puppy would have gone straight through. So yeah, he does actually have, surprisingly, a pretty big cannon of an arm on him. But yeah. So as you can clearly tell here, for me, it's going to be the play calling of KOC. Can he, if the run game is working, can he muster up enough courage to actually run with it? Pun both intended and not intended there. But anyway. So yeah, for me, that's going to be the biggest focus. And then, of course, the Flores defense. Can you step up with how you handled Caleb Williams and those guys week 1? Because they actually did a really good job against Caleb Williams and that offense. However, though, we're now 10 weeks removed. The Bears are now looking insanely good. Ben Johnson's offense is finally starting to click. Caleb Williams, since his, erratic starts of the first couple weeks of the season and even last year, he's starting to come into form and be the quarterback that the Bears thought they were getting when they drafted him last year at number 1 overall in 2024. So yeah, there's definitely enough there to create problems, especially with the secondary that's a little bit banged up and stuff like that. And not gonna lie, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland's now starting to get into the mix. Either DeAndre Swift or Kyle Monungai in the backfield looking pretty darn solid. Again, discipline on defense. Don't let Caleb get hot. Stifle the run game. Make Caleb beat you. Because we've seen plenty of times where if you force Caleb to go off script, he can, but he can also, end up sacking himself for 20 yards, throw boneheaded interceptions. You've got to keep getting the pressure to Caleb because he's now finally starting to have trust in his arm, have trust from his coach to just fire dots and missiles into their receivers, their running backs, their tight ends. I mean, this offense is no joke now, ladies and gentlemen. I know, because I actually have a couple of, or at least one point, I had a couple of the Bears offensive players on my fantasy teams, and they're usually pretty productive for me. But regardless, though, you've got to force the Bears to go off script. But yeah. Whew. Yeah, I just figured kind of, try to keep it a little bit short and sweet since we just, already faced them this year, and it's pretty much about the same formula. Keep Caleb Williams guessing, make that offense go one-dimensional, and also, with J.J. McCarthy, establish a run game, establish a screen game, and then work your offense up from there. Because, again, J.J. McCarthy is not prime Patrick Mahomes, and I think that's where KOC is just not seeing the picture. This isn't Stafford. This isn't Cousins. This isn't Darnold. Maybe in about 2 or 3 seasons, J.J. McCarthy will turn into prime Mahomes, Cousins, or Darnold and be able to sling the ball down the field with relative ease. But for now, it's not working. It's okay to throw intermediate passes. It's okay to run the ball. It's okay to do simple plays. And that's what I'm going to be looking forward to seeing. Does he actually do that? And also what the temperature of the crowd's going to be because, well, I mean, I don't know if you've been around Vikings Twitter recently, but, it's the typical toxic cesspool that I've, commented on a few times over the years on my channel. Granted, every fan base has those fans, but it's just kind of annoying after a while. But yeah. That'll pretty much wrap up this video. So, like I say, because I'm going to be at the game, I don't know when I'm going to be able to film a post game or, if I'm going to actually film from there or if it's going to be when I get home on Monday or whatever. But, yeah, stay tuned for that. And until we meet again, this is Jacob, Score the Vikings. Please get it done this week.